My name is Alina King Monroe, and if you asked me a year ago, I would have told you I was happy, really happy. I had love, security, a future I believed in. But what I didn't know was that I was sleeping next to a man who built his world on lies. And worse, he built mine right into it. He said he loved me. What he really wanted was control. This is the story of how I became the wife of a man I didn't truly know. How I uncovered a criminal empire wearing a wedding band. And how I became the key to bringing it all down. If you think this is just another love story gone wrong, you're not ready for what comes next. Not all monsters hide in the shadows. Some kiss you goodnight. I used to believe that love, real love, was enough. That if you gave yourself fully to someone, your time, your trust, your body, your soul, they would protect that gift, honor it. I thought love was the strongest bond in the world. I was wrong, because the man I loved didn't just break my heart. He broke me. It started in the fall of 2017, just when the leaves around Charlotte, North Carolina, had turned to fiery gold. I was living a quiet, almost predictable life, working as an office manager at a pediatric clinic, spending weekends with my younger sister Layla, and caring for my aging mom who'd suffered a stroke 2 years before. I wasn't looking for love. Honestly, I'd stopped believing in it after my last relationship ended with my ex draining my savings and ghosting me. But sometimes life doesn't knock. It breaks the door down. Damian Carter did exactly that. We met at a charity gala hosted by the clinic. He wasn't supposed to be there. He said his business partner bailed last minute, and he just decided to show up anyway. His suit was tailored, his smile sharp but disarming. He was the kind of man that made a room slow down, not just because he was handsome, but because he knew he was. He struck up conversation near the hors d'oeuvres table, and we spent the rest of the evening talking like we were old friends catching up after years apart. He asked about my dreams, not just my job. He told me I had sad but beautiful eyes, and said it like he already wanted to change that. Within a week, we were inseparable. Damian said he ran a financial consulting firm that catered to small businesses and tech startups. Nothing flashy, he told me, just helping people grow smart. But everything about him was flashy. The car, a sleek black Jaguar. The watch, Rolex, vintage. The dinners, private wine tastings, rooftop restaurants. I teased him once about his taste, and he replied, "When you grow up with nothing, you learn to surround yourself with things that scream success." That struck a chord. I grew up with little too, mom working 2 jobs, no dad in sight. Layla and I had each other, and we learned how to survive. So maybe that was part of Damian's appeal. He made me feel like I didn't have to just survive anymore. I could finally live. My sister, Layla, wasn't convinced. "He's too smooth," she said one night after meeting him for dinner. "It's like he's memorized what to say. Does he ever talk about his past?" I shrugged it off. He told me his parents died in a car crash when he was 19. Said he bounced around foster homes until he got a scholarship and made his way up. Layla frowned. He told me he was raised by his grandmother in Ohio. That's not the same thing, Alina. I should have asked questions then. I should have paused. But love has a way of blinding you to red flags, especially when they're disguised as fairy tale moments. 3 months later, we were engaged. He proposed during a weekend trip to Asheville, under the stars, after a private mountain cabin dinner. I cried, not because it was perfect, though it was, but because for the first time in my life, I felt seen, chosen. We got married in a small ceremony 6 weeks after we met. My mom cried through most of it. Layla looked worried the entire time. Damian sighed. Empty. He said he didn't have any real family left, no siblings, cousins, even friends. I burned bridges early on, he said. That's why I value what we have. I remember thinking that was the most romantic thing anyone had ever said to me. I didn't know it would become my biggest regret. At first, married life was bliss. He insisted I quit my job. "Let me take care of you," he said. "You've been carrying people your whole life. Now it's my turn." It felt like luxury. I'd wake up to fresh flowers. He left notes by the mirror. "You're my reason. You're my peace. You're my forever." But slowly, the sweetness became sticky. He started asking questions about my family finances, wanted to know how much money I had saved up, asked if I still talked to any of my exes. When I told him I kept a small emergency fund separate, he got quiet. "Why would you need that?" he asked, voice tight. "Don't you trust me?" I said I did. But even then, something started to shift inside me. A subtle sense of control began to creep in. He wanted access to my bank account for emergency purposes. He wanted me to stop going to Layla's house alone, for safety. He changed the passcode on my phone because we should share everything. And I let him, because every manipulation came wrapped in love. Until one night, I found the second phone. It was late. He'd gone to bed early and said he had a headache. I stayed up watching reruns. I walked into the bedroom to grab my charger and noticed the closet door slightly ajar. I reached in and knocked over one of his shoes. When I bent down to pick it up, I saw the glint of metal wedged behind a stack of papers. It was a burner phone, cheap, old, but charged. No fingerprint lock. Curiosity got the best of me. I opened it. There were dozens of texts. None from me. Most were transactional. Short messages like, "Wired $25K to Morgan Holdings. Use Alpha Line routing for the next batch. She doesn't know anything yet." I felt my blood run cold. The last message was from an unknown number. "We need to talk. She's asking questions." I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I confronted him. I told him I found the phone. Showed him the messages. He didn't flinch. Didn't deny it. Just stared at me for a long moment and said, "You've just made a very dangerous mistake." I laughed, nervous, half disbelieving. What does that even mean? He took the phone from my hand and smashed it against the wall. Shards flew everywhere. Then he walked out. I sat on the floor for hours, heart pounding, mind spinning. Who was he? What had I married into? I didn't even know where to start. So I called the one person who always had my back. Layla was at my house within 30 minutes. She didn't say, "I told you so." She just hugged me and said, "Let's figure this out." We started digging, searching every drawer, scanning through emails, old receipts, even the trash. I logged into my online banking and nearly fainted. 3 new business accounts had been opened under my name in the past 3 months. One was titled Morgan Carter Solutions. Another was Alpha Line Consultants. The last one was just a series of initials, AMC Group LLC. Each had thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, flowing in and out. I never signed for any of them. Or, at least, I didn't think I did. Layla called her friend Marcus, a former investigator. He owed her a favor. He showed up with a laptop, a scanner, and a serious look. After 3 hours, he sat me down and said, "Alina, this man is laundering money, and he's doing it through you." The room spun. Marcus explained how Damien likely forged my signature using documents I'd given him. How he'd probably used shell companies to hide money transfers. How this could easily turn into a federal crime. "But I didn't do anything," I whispered. "That won't matter," he replied. "Your name's on everything. If the feds come knocking, they won't ask questions first." I asked what to do. Marcus looked me dead in the eye. "Lie low. Do not confront him again. Start collecting evidence. And whatever you do, don't let him know you're onto him." I nodded, but inside I was unraveling. I married a criminal, and I had no idea how far he was willing to go to protect his secrets. That night, I waited until Damien fell asleep. Then I snuck into his office. There was a locked drawer in his desk. I'd seen him use a keychain with a silver dolphin attached. I found it in his coat pocket. The drawer creaked open. Inside was a folder with fake IDs, at least 4, with different names and Damien's face on all of them. Offshore account numbers. Flash drives labeled with dates. And a small black leather-bound notebook with scribbled entries. One page stood out. "If she finds out, pivot. Use leverage. Discredit. Or disappear." My hands shook. I took photos of everything and quietly placed them back. I didn't sleep at all. The next morning, I got a call at work. It wasn't from Damien. It wasn't Layla. It was a man who introduced himself as Agent Rhodes with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. His words were calm, but they crashed over me like waves of ice. "We need to speak with you immediately, Mrs. Carter. It's regarding your husband and your role in an ongoing financial crime investigation." My mouth went dry. Am I in trouble? There was a pause on the line. "That depends," he said, "on whether you're a victim or an accomplice." There's a moment right after your world shifts, right after the ground gives out beneath you, when your brain tries to convince you it's all a misunderstanding. That's how I felt standing in the parking lot outside my job, gripping my phone so hard my knuckles turned white. "We need to speak with you immediately, Mrs. Carter." The voice on the line, Agent Rhodes, was calm, too calm, like he was used to delivering news that ruined lives. "It's regarding your husband and your role in an ongoing financial crime investigation." I barely remember what I said next. Something about being on my way. Something about needing to grab my things. But inside, I was spinning. My role? Victim or accomplice? They met me at a field office on the edge of town. Two agents, Rhodes and another man named Detective Easton, waited in a nondescript conference room that smelled like paper and old carpet. They offered me water. I said no. I sat across from them and folded my hands in my lap like a child waiting for punishment. Rhodes leaned forward. "This is off the record," he said. "We're not arresting you, and you're not under suspicion yet. But we believe your husband is involved in a major fraud operation, and you are listed as a co-owner of multiple shell companies tied to laundered funds." I swallowed. "I didn't sign anything." He nodded. "We know. At least, we believe that's the case. But proving it will require your help." Then came the folder. Thick. Heavy. Full of documents with my name on them, business licenses, wire transfers, digital signatures I didn't remember authorizing. "You see this?" Easton tapped a document. "That's a $425,000 transfer to a fake tech firm in Miami. You're listed as the sender." Two more for similar amounts went through Cayman Islands accounts. Same name, same signature. My stomach churned. "I swear," I whispered. "I didn't know. He used my name. He's been controlling everything. Even my phone, my accounts. I didn't even know about half of this until last night." They exchanged glances. Rhodes spoke again. "Then help us. Work with us, and we'll do everything we can to protect you." He slid a small black device across the table. "A recorder. We want you to wear this," he said. "Next time you talk to him, we need you to act like nothing's changed. Keep him calm. Try to get him to talk about the money, about the businesses, about your role." My hands trembled as I reached for it. What if he finds out? Rhodes looked me square in the eye. "Then you're in more danger than you already are." I left the building an hour later, my mind on fire. Outside, Layla was waiting in her car. I texted her one word: feds. She didn't ask for details, just got in her car and showed up. She could see it in my face before I even got in. "What now?" she asked. I held up the tiny recorder. "They want me to spy on him." Layla's face paled. "Alina, no. That's insane. He's unstable." I didn't answer. I was already weighing the risk. I knew Damien was manipulative, secretive. But violent? That line felt blurry. And I wasn't sure anymore where he drew it. We drove home in silence. That night, Damien came home like nothing was wrong. He kissed my cheek, asked what I wanted for dinner, said he'd picked up my favorite wine. The calm in his voice, the casual warmth, it felt artificial, rehearsed. He sat on the couch scrolling through his phone, laughing at something on the TV. But I couldn't see past the man I now knew he was. The thief. The liar. The man who used my name to commit crimes. I forced myself to sit next to him. "Damien," I said, testing my voice. "We haven't really talked lately. About your business. What you actually do." He looked at me, smiling carefully. "Babe, you know what I do. Financial consulting, remember? But how does it work, exactly?" I pressed. "I mean, there's all these names on the bank mail. Carter Holdings, Alpha Line, AMC. I don't know what any of that means." I want to understand it. I want to be part of it. There was a flicker in his eyes. A shift. You've never asked about that stuff before. I kept my tone light. I know, but I'm your wife. Shouldn't I know what we're building together? For a moment, he studied me. Then, like flipping a switch, he relaxed and put his arm around me. I like that, he said. You're right. You should know. I'll walk you through it tomorrow. I smiled, forcing my stomach not to lurch. The recorder, hidden beneath my bra strap, was warm against my skin. But tomorrow didn't come the way I expected. Instead, Damien left early the next morning. Said he had a client emergency. Didn't kiss me goodbye. I waited all day. Watched the door. Jumped every time my phone buzzed. When he finally came back after 9 p.m., he looked different. Sweat on his brow. Tie crooked. Eyes unfocused. He was drunk. Or maybe worse. You okay? I asked cautiously. He dropped his bag on the floor and mumbled something about people being ungrateful. Then he locked the front door. Deadbolt. Chain. Just me and you now, he slurred. Like it should be. Fear crawled up my spine. He walked to the kitchen, opened a drawer, closed it. He stood there for a long time, staring at the wall. Then he turned and said, I need your help. He poured himself a drink and sat at the table. They're watching me, he said. People I used to work with. They're trying to pin everything on me. But you're clean. That's why I need you to do something. I kept my face neutral. He slid a folder across the table. This is a new company. You're the founder. Just sign the documents, and we can move everything under your name. Keep it safe. My heart raced. I opened the folder. Bank forms. Tax forms. Blank signature lines. You trust me, right? He asked, his voice low, dangerous. I nodded slowly. Of course. I signed with a shaky hand. Then I excused myself and went into the bathroom. I locked the door, sat on the floor, and cried. The next morning, I went straight to the FBI. Rhodes and Easton listened as I played back the conversation. It's not much, I said. But he admitted people were watching him, that he was moving money, that I'm supposed to help hide it. They nodded. It's enough to push for more, Easton said. But we need something concrete. A name. An account. One of the offshore links. I swallowed. He said he'd explain everything today. They handed me a second recorder. A stronger one, disguised as a key fob. You're doing good, Rhodes said. But be careful. We think he's getting paranoid. I didn't tell them about the locked drawer I found last night, or the gun inside it, because part of me still didn't believe he'd use it. That night, everything went wrong. We were supposed to have dinner. I cooked chicken Alfredo, his favorite. He came home late again, silent, distant, sat down, didn't touch the food. Then he said, You've been lying to me. My heart stopped. What do you mean? He pulled out his phone, placed it on the table. I checked your call log. I kept my voice even. I haven't called anyone. Really? Then what's this? He tapped the screen. It was a log of a private number. The same one Rhodes used. Telemarketers, maybe? I said, grasping. He stood up. Don't lie to me, Alina. Not you. He walked to the drawer. Opened it. The gun was gone. I froze. Then he pulled something else out. A flash drive. This is everything, he said, suddenly calm. Everything I've done. All the accounts. All the names. I want you to take it. I blinked. Why? Because I'm leaving. I stared at him. What do you mean? I've already packed. I've got money stashed away. You'll be fine if you just stay quiet. Say you didn't know anything. I'll be a ghost in a week. He handed me the flash drive. I took it with trembling fingers. Then he kissed my forehead and walked out the door. I waited 15 minutes before I called the FBI. Rhodes and Easton were at the house in under an hour. They took the drive, scanned it. What they found made Rhodes curse under his breath. Accounts, routing numbers, offshore transfers, emails, conversations, client names, politicians, CEOs, and a backup plan labeled Plan Z. Your husband wasn't just laundering money, Easton said. He was blackmailing people too. This goes way deeper than we thought. I stood in the living room, still shaking, as they processed the evidence. Then my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. He's not gone. He's watching. Don't trust the feds. I showed it to Rhodes. He frowned. It's a scare tactic. We'll trace it. But something told me this wasn't Damien. It was someone else. Someone in his network. Because Damien didn't just leave me with a broken marriage. He left me in the middle of something far more dangerous. The weight of the flash drive Damien had handed me felt heavier than its physical form. It was as if he had transferred not just data, but the burden of his secrets onto me. The FBI agents, Rhodes and Easton, had taken it, their expressions a mix of triumph and concern. The information it contained was damning, implicating not just Damien, but a web of influential figures. Yet, the text message I received shortly after he left haunted me. He's not gone. He's watching. Don't trust the feds. Who could have sent it? Was Damien truly watching, or was this another player in his convoluted game? The paranoia was suffocating. The days that followed were a blur of anxiety and hypervigilance. I found myself constantly looking over my shoulder, jumping at shadows. Layla became my anchor, her presence a soothing balm to my frayed nerves. Alina, you can't live like this, she said one evening as we sat in my living room, the curtains drawn tight. We need to take control. But how? My voice was barely above a whisper. The FBI is involved. Damien is out there, and someone is sending me cryptic messages. Layla's eyes narrowed in determination. Then we find out who. We can't rely solely on the authorities. We need to be proactive. Her words ignited a spark within me. I had been passive for too long, allowing events to dictate my life. It was time to take the reins. Layla and I began our own investigation. We revisited every document, every memory, searching for clues. Damien's meticulous nature meant that he left little to chance, but everyone has a blind spot. One evening, as I sifted through old photographs, I noticed something peculiar. In several images, a man appeared in the background, always at a distance, always watching. Layla, look at this, I said, handing her the photos. She examined them closely. Who is he? I don't know, I admitted. But he's in multiple pictures, spanning years. He's been watching us. Layla's expression hardened. We need to find him. Utilizing Layla's connections, we managed to identify the man. His name was Victor Langley, a private investigator with a reputation for operating in moral gray areas. We arranged a meeting in a public park during daylight hours. Victor was a middle-aged man with piercing blue eyes that seemed to see right through you. Mrs. Carter, he greeted, his voice smooth. I've been expecting you. Have you? I replied, masking my unease. He gestured to a nearby bench. Shall we? Once seated, I got straight to the point. Why have you been watching us? A ghost of a smile played on his lips. I was hired. By whom? He leaned back, studying me. Your husband. My heart skipped a beat. Why? Damien suspected you were straying. He wanted evidence. I felt a surge of anger. That's absurd. I was faithful. Victor shrugged. Be that as it may, my job was to observe and report. Layla interjected. Did you know about his illegal activities? Victor's eyes darkened. I had my suspicions, but I wasn't paid to investigate him. I took a deep breath. Victor, Damien is dangerous. I need your help to bring him to justice. He regarded me for a moment before nodding. Very well, but this won't be easy. The deeper conspiracy. With Victor's assistance, we uncovered more about Damien's operations. It wasn't just financial fraud. He was involved in a complex web of blackmail, leveraging secrets of powerful individuals to his advantage. One name stood out, Senator Richard Thompson. The flash drive contained correspondences suggesting that Damien had incriminating evidence against the senator, using it to manipulate political outcomes. This is explosive, Victor remarked. If this gets out, it could topple governments. I felt a chill. We need to be careful. Damien won't let this go easily. As we delved deeper, it became evident that Damien was always a step ahead. He began sending me messages, reminding me of his omnipresence. One evening, as I returned home, I found a single red rose on my doorstep. Attached was a note. Miss me? Panic surged through me. I called Layla and Victor, who arrived promptly. This is his way of asserting control, Victor said. He's playing mind games. Layla clenched her fists. We need to end this. We devised a plan to lure Damien out, using the information we had as bait. Victor reached out through his channels, spreading word that we intended to go public with the evidence. It didn't take long. A week later, I received a call. Alina. Damien's voice was smooth, almost tender. We need to talk. There's nothing to discuss, I replied, my voice steady. Meet me at our spot, he continued, ignoring my protest. Midnight. The line went dead. We knew it was a trap, but it was an opportunity we couldn't pass up. With the FBI looped in, we set up surveillance at the rendezvous point, a secluded cabin by the lake where Damien and I had spent anniversaries. As midnight approached, I approached the cabin, a wire discreetly hidden beneath my clothing. The moon cast an eerie glow, the water reflecting its light. Damien was inside, seated by the fireplace, a glass of wine in hand. You came, he said, a genuine smile on his face. I needed closure, I replied, keeping my distance. He gestured to the seat opposite him. Sit. I remained standing. Why did you do it, Damien? The lies, the deceit? He sighed, swirling the wine in his glass. Power, Alina. It's intoxicating. But you wouldn't understand. Try me. He leaned forward, eyes intense. Imagine holding the strings that control the puppets of this world. One tug, and they danced your tune. I felt a mix of revulsion and pity. But at what cost? He chuckled. Everything has a price. The conversation continued, Damien revealing more than he intended. The FBI agents listening. Damien's eyes glinted in the dim cabin light, the crackling fireplace casting dancing shadows on his face. He looked both sinister and sad, like a man who knew his time was running out but was determined to take control of how it ended. Everything I did, he said, sipping his wine, was to build a world where we'd never want for anything. And yet, you betrayed me. I stiffened. You forged my name, used me as a pawn. You're the one who shattered everything. He stood abruptly. You don't get it, Alina. I built empires in your name. You were the queen of them, even if you didn't know. And now? Now you've brought the whole thing down. For what? Justice. His voice echoed, venomous and bitter. I kept calm, knowing every word was being recorded by the FBI agents listening just outside in unmarked vans, their earpieces tuned to every heartbeat in that room. Why did you run? I asked, carefully steering him. He tilted his head, almost amused. Because I saw it coming. The leaks. The whispers. People are turning on me. You think Rhodes is your ally? He's as dirty as the rest of them. That flash drive? It was just the surface. The real dirt, the real power. It's locked up. Only one person knows where. He tapped his temple. Me. I stayed quiet. Let him talk. You're not safe, Alina, he continued, walking toward the window and peeking through the blinds. You think they'll protect you? Once they're done bleeding you dry, you'll be left holding the bag, just like I planned. My breath caught. You planned this. He turned back to me, smiling. Of course. I knew someday I'd need a fall guy or girl. That's why everything's in your name. That's why they're all chasing you now. The emails, the transfers, the companies. You're the keystone. Remove you and the whole system collapses. But if you stay, they can't touch me. A beat of silence. Then the door burst open. FBI. Hands where we can see them. Damien didn't flinch. He simply raised his arms, smirking like a man who still had an ace up his sleeve. The escape. Everything should have ended there. The arrest. The evidence. the confession. But nothing about Damien was ever simple. As the agents moved in, cuffing him and reading his rights, a sharp crack rang out.
Gunfire.
Glass shattered. An agent screamed. I dropped to the floor as chaos exploded around me. From the woods surrounding the cabin, masked figures opened fire. It wasn't just Damien's arrest, it was an ambush. Move, move. Rhodes shouted, pulling me behind a heavy table. Bullets tore through the walls. Flashlights flickered outside as agents scrambled for cover. One man, Victor, returned fire from the porch, blood already seeping from his shoulder. I could barely process it. Who are they? I yelled over the noise. Rhodes, breathless, shouted. Hired guns. Damien has a private network. Mercenaries. We thought it was paranoia. We were wrong. In the confusion, Damien vanished. By the time the gunfire stopped and the attackers retreated into the woods, he was gone, leaving behind only shattered glass, spent bullet casings, and a mocking laugh echoing in the distance. Fallout. 2 agents were injured. Victor was hospitalized. And Damien Carter was once again a ghost. You said you had eyes on every route. I snapped at Easton later, pacing in the FBI field office. He looked exhausted, ashamed. We underestimated him. He had inside help. Possibly someone in law enforcement. We're investigating. Inside help. I repeated. That means he's watching us even now. Yes, Rhodes admitted. And it also means we can't fully trust anyone. I slumped into a chair, my head spinning. He said I'm the keystone. I whispered. That everything falls apart without me. What does that mean? Rhodes sat across from me, his voice quiet. It means you're the most valuable and the most vulnerable person in this case. Which is why you need to go into protective custody. Tonight. My heart sank. They moved me to a safe house under a new identity. No phones. No internet. No Layla. Just me, a guard rotation, and the walls closing in. Days blurred together. Nights were worse. Sleep brought nightmares. Damien's face in the dark, his voice whispering secrets I hadn't discovered yet. Then one morning I woke up to a flash drive on my pillow. No fingerprints. No sign of forced entry. Just a note. You need the whole truth. Insert me. I stared at it, hands trembling. My guard was asleep in the hallway, sedated or bribed. I didn't know which. Against every instinct, I plugged it into the laptop Rhodes had left behind. It opened with a single folder, Black Book, Plan Z. Inside, dozens of files, videos, audio recordings, and spreadsheets, chronicling years of Damien's operation. Blackmail targets. Hidden camera footage. Financial statements. Conversations with elected officials. And one folder labeled, Alina, Asset or Threat? My blood ran cold. I opened it. Inside were notes, logs detailing Damien's surveillance of me. Every conversation, every move. An analysis of my emotional stability, risk tolerance, and loyalty profile. And one final entry, dated 2 days before his arrest attempt. If Alina flips, trigger protocol. She knows too much. Remove her or turn her. A video file was attached. I clicked it. Damien appeared on screen, sitting at a desk in some unknown location. Hello, Alina, he said, as if he knew I'd be watching. If you're seeing this, you've chosen your side. I don't blame you. But understand this, there are things in motion now that can't be undone. You think the FBI is here to help? They're covering their own sins. The files you've seen? That's only the surface. There's one more drive. The real one. The one that can burn the entire network down. You want redemption? Find it. But know this, you're being hunted now. By more than just me. The screen went black. I immediately contacted Rhodes. Showed him everything. He reviewed the files in stunned silence. Then he looked up. This is bigger than we imagined. Damien wasn't just manipulating companies. He was puppeteering entire agencies. Intelligence officers. Bank CEOs. Senators. And the worst part, he turned the laptop toward me. This drive? It named one of our own. My breath caught. Who? He hesitated. Agent Easton. Everything in me froze. Easton, the man who swore to protect me, who worked beside Rhodes this whole time, was part of it? Rhodes stood abruptly. We need to move. Now. But as he reached for his phone, the screen lit up with a message. Too late. And suddenly, the lights cut out. Doors slammed. The safe house went dark. And from outside, the low hum of approaching vehicles filled the night air. They found us, Rhodes said, eyes wide. Alina, run.
Oh yeah, Alina, run. Will Alina keep running, or will she uncover the whole truth? What is going to happen to Alina? Find out in the part 2 of her story. Subscribe and turn on post notification so you don't miss the part 2 of Alina's story. Subscribe to Whispers of Crime to watch more chilling true stories. Bye for now.